Let's begin. So C is the sine rule, and yesterday we learned the cosine rule, and hopefully we enjoyed that. That's a great process for finding unknowns with an unknown with a non-right angled triangle. The sine rule is going to be similar. Both are going to be rules that we can use to find different things, and I'm going to give you a summary after recess. But for now, we're just going to look at using and applying the sine rule. It's going to be pretty straightforward, pretty similar to the cosine rule that we did yesterday. We'll have two questions to address, and then in the first part of the lesson, we will have some time to dedicate to our folio. So let's get through this. This is the sine rule. If we have a non-right angled triangle, remember we have angle A, side A is opposite it. Similarly with B and C. And I've said exclusively, let's always make our unknown A. So if we're finding an unknown angle, we'll set that as A. If we're finding an unknown side, we'll set that as A. In our first circumstance, we're required to find an unknown side. So that's going to be A, and this is going to be angle A. Then B and C, it doesn't matter what we set as side B and side C. So I'm going to set this as angle B, and this will be side B, and the other one can be C. All right. So here's the whole sine rule, but we're not particularly interested in all three of them. We only want an equation that equates two of them. And so we're only really going to focus on the first two parts. Now, up here I've got expressed in two ways. This is for an angle because the angle is at the top. This is for a side because the side is at the top. So we have two forms in which it can be presented. And these are just the reciprocal of one another. What I mean is we're just flipping them. Okay, so over here it's just flipped. So if we want to find a side, we're going to use this presentation. So let's write out the formula. The formula is A on top of sine A equals B on top of sine B. And we'll stop there. Okay, we only want to equate one part of it together. And then we'll fill in all of the parts that we know. So we know A corresponds with X, that's what we're trying to solve. Angle A is 80 degrees, so we'll have sine of 80. B, side B has a length of 7, and angle B is 60 on top of sine 60. That's an 80, just to clarify. Okay, so we're looking to get X by itself. Now what we should know is that sine 80 is a number. We have X divided by sine 80. So the algebra that we're going to perform is we're going to multiply both sides by sine 80. We're moving that up to the other side, right? We're going to have X equals 7 on sine 60, and that whole thing multiplied by sine 80. Okay, that's going to give us the unknown, which we'll type in our calculator. Make sure it's set on degrees. Now I'll just reveal a little trick about degrees. Right at the top, you see your battery icon here on your calculator. And if you follow that along, it displays a number of settings there. One of them should say deg for degrees. If it's in radians, it'll say rad. So that's a quick way for you to confirm what angle setting your calculator has. So let's type this in. We have 7 on sine 60 multiplied by sine 80. All right, that gives us 7.96. Okay, now remember it's a length. We're not given a particular unit. So we'll just put units, okay? It is 7.96 units long, side X. Okay, so what did we do here? First, we identified A and B. So angle A, side A, angle B, side B. We wrote out the formula. We substituted in what we know. We're trying to get X by itself, so we're going to move that sine 80 up to the other side by multiplying both sides by sine 80. Just to show you the algebra, right? If we multiply both sides by sine 80 times sine 80, and over here, times sine 80, all right, on the left-hand side of the equation, we have sine 80 at the top and at the bottom, so it will cancel, and so that's how we get an X by itself. Really good. Let's move over here. Okay, so here we have an unknown angle that we want to find. So we'll start by just labeling it. Here's going to be angle A, side A. All right, always label the unknown as A. We have angle B and side B. Okay, now when we're finding an angle, we're going to use this presentation of the formula. So let's write that up. So we'll have sine of A on top of A equals sine of B on top of B. Okay, so that's the formula for an angle. And we'll substitute in the unknowns. So we're finding sine of M. All right, we want to find this value M. And side A corresponds with 8. Sine of B is 75. And side B is 10. Okay, so that's all good. We've set it up to get sine M by itself. Now, similarly, like we did, we want sine M by itself, so we're going to multiply both sides by 8 to move it over here. All right, on this side it will cancel. So we have sine M is equal to this part, so I'll write that out. Sine 75, and we could even write it as, sine 75 on 10 multiplied by 8. You could put the 8 out the front of the sine 75 if you want. Okay, so then to get M by itself, what we will do is inverse sine of whatever this evaluates to. So we'll just put the right answer for now. So I'm going to type into my calculator, inverse sine. I'm going to type that in the brackets and evaluate it, and it's going to spit out the answer in degrees. So we'll have shift sine. We have sine 75 on 10 multiplied by 8. Make sure we chuck it in brackets. 50.600. Very good. Okay, so this is the sine rule. This is 6C.1. We will do question 1 and 2. Once you've done that, you can spend a bit of the first lesson on your folio. When we come back, we'll look a little bit at problem solving, and following that, we will have some more folio time as well.